Hello everyone, happy Monday and welcome to Real Talk Real Estate here on the Aaron Advantage. Tonight I'm gonna break tradition from my normal point of view on HGTV and actually kind of give them a little bit of props because I got some information in an article. I'll go ahead and I'll link it to this in the comments below after I finish up the live video. But I actually found an article today that had some great information for first-time home buyers, some really good tips for first-time home buyers to make sure that they know specifically what they're doing when they're purchasing a home. So the article I found actually has 23 tips in it, and I'm not going to go through all of those today because there's a lot of good stuff there. But I did want to touch on the ones that I feel like are the most important things that people should definitely take into consideration when they're buying a home. I've been talking a lot lately about the fact that this is currently a low inventory market, that this is a seller's market and all this information. But the truth is I haven't been focusing a whole lot on home buyers. So I wanted to get this information out to anybody that you know who's looking at purchasing their first home, or to you if you're thinking of purchasing your first home. So do me a favor, like this video, share it with anybody, tag your friends in the comments who are thinking about buying a home so that they can go through this information, check out the article, and make sure that they are fully prepared to purchase their first home. So to kick it off, the first tip that I want to put out there is don't commit before you're ready. Now, I'm a salesperson. My job is to help people buy homes. But the truth is I want to make sure that you know that owning a home is a large commitment. It's not just purchasing the home. It's all the maintenance and everything that goes into it from the first day you move in to the last day when you move out. There's a lot of things that can happen when you own a home. There's a lot of maintenance that goes into it. There's a lot of repairs that could come up throughout the time that you're there. So make sure you're fully ready and capable to purchase a home and go through all of the benefits as well as the tribulations of home ownership. I think it's a phenomenal thing to do to make sure that you're completely ready to go before you really jump in and make that commitment. The next thing is sweat equity can save you thousands of dollars. And what I mean by that is if you're capable, you have the patience and the know-how to actually do some of the work yourself, you can save tons and tons of money in your home over the long run. Now, the other thing I can tell you is that currently, even though it is a seller's market, there's a ton of buyers out there who are looking at homes, and if they're not perfectly ready to go with perfect paint, absolutely spotless, they're not even willing to make an offer. So if you have a little bit of time, know-how, and ability to do a little bit of work yourself, you might be able to find a phenomenal deal because there's other people who aren't even willing to take a look at it. So if you're able to do it, always look at the different projects that you might be able to complete, and you might be able to find an awesome deal and do some great things with that down the road. Obviously, saving money over time is always a good thing, especially in a home that if you hire out a lot of the work, it's going to cost you a lot more money than if you can do anything yourself. Another great tip that a lot of people do not take into consideration, especially those people who may not have children, is your school district could actually have an impact on the value of your property. So whether or not you have kids right now or you intend to have kids down the future, you may never intend to have children, that is going to be something that a future home buyer may look at when they're coming to take a look at the property, and it's always something that can be used to market the property as well. So pay attention to those things. It's a good idea to know what the school districts are and what people think about those. So if you have any questions about that, you can find all kinds of information online, and any realtor you're working with should be able to help you out with finding that information as well. So definitely don't let that one slip by you. That's a tip a lot of first-time home buyers do not know about and do not think about. Another great tip, always reserve some cash for home improvements. I don't care if you're buying a brand new home. I don't care if it's 100 years old. There's always going to be something that you want to do to your house to make it yours. Most builders, when they're going through, if they're putting up a spec house, there's going to be certain things that you want to do in there after you move in. Maybe you want to change some paint colors. Maybe you want to change out a light fixture. These are all things that take some money. So you want to make sure that you have a bit of a budget set aside, ready to go, so that you can take care of that stuff down the road. A lot of people just completely go and blow their budget and spend every dollar they have when they're moving into a brand new home. And a lot of times, that's not the best thing you'll want to do. I actually had a buddy one time, bought a new house, spent a whole bunch of money, moved in, and he had almost no furniture in his place because he didn't have any money left to go and put that stuff in. So always make sure you've got a little bit of reserve cash. Don't spend your entire nest egg on your down payment because it's a good idea to make sure that you have some stuff left over to do additional things down the road. Also, because I'm saying that and paying attention to your money situation, you may not realize that purchasing a home is not going to have just a financial cost, but there could be some personal costs involved with that as well. And what I mean by that is if you're completely blowing your budget on your house and your house payment's going to be too high because you wanted to overspend and do all this stuff and you spent all the money that you had on home improvements, that could impact your personal life as well. That could impact your social life as well. If you're somebody who likes to go out all the time, go to out to eat with friends, go see movies, do all kinds of entertaining kind of things, you may not realize that the cost of those specific things in your life is not factored into your budget when you're purchasing a home. Your lender's never asking you, hey, how much money do you spend when you're going out to eat? They're not asking you how much time do you spend out with friends, traveling, or doing those other things. I think it's a great idea to make sure that you know your numbers before you make an offer on a home, to make sure that you've got that stuff ready to roll before you purchase a home, because you really don't want to be married to your mortgage and end up having this nice new house but can't even afford to have friends over to have dinner with you. Another great tip, secure financing before you look at a home. And this one, any buyer that I've ever worked with knows this one. I won't even show you a property until you have a pre-approval. And it's not because I don't want to do it. It's because I don't think it's a good idea for you. Because the worst thing that can happen is to go into a home, take a look at it, fall in love with that property, and then you have to spend the time trying to figure out if you've got the ability to purchase it. Now, there's two reasons why that could be a big problem. The first one, you find out, I can't get pre-approved at all for that price range. I don't even want to look for houses anymore. That could be an issue. I really hate to see the disappointment on people's faces when they fall in love with a property and then find out that they can't get it because they can't qualify for the loan. The second reason that's super important is we are in that low inventory market, so you want to make sure that you're not wasting time having to go find out if your pre-approval is even going to be able to happen, because somebody else might swoop in and get it done and be able to negotiate a deal before you're even able to get into the bank and talk to the lender. So make sure you've got that taken care of before we ever start looking at homes. It'll save you tons of time and heartache in the long run. Trust me on that one. Another thing is, just because you have a number that you qualify for, you don't want to spend every dollar on that amount. As I said previously, you don't want to end up married to your mortgage. You want to make sure you still have some money in your budget that you can go out and live the life that you want to live. So that's another important thing to make sure that you're taken care of. Another big thing that people often overlook, and this may sound kind of salesy, but the truth is, a higher price point may end up saving you money in the long run. Now, I don't say go out and blow your entire budget every time. As I've said multiple times, you don't want to end up married to your mortgage. But you also don't want to put yourself in a position where you're looking at the very bottom of your budget either, because you may end up buying a home that could have some hidden maintenance costs that are going to be coming up. If it's priced on the lower end, you may be in a position where you might have to put a new roof on it. The HVAC may be a little bit older. You may want to put that in there. You also may want to find out, what the utility costs are, because older homes may have higher utility costs that are going to affect you on a day-to-day basis. So spending a little bit more money on a house that's already been updated or is a little bit newer, has a lot of those maintenance items taken care of for you, could be a good thing to make sure that you're getting everything cheaper in the long run. It may cost you a little bit more up front, but ultimately you're going to be happy that you spent that extra money to make sure that you're not spending that extra dollar every month or have those big expenses that could come up unexpectedly. Here's another one for you. Especially in a market where we're at right now, lowballing the offer does not always pay off, especially whenever it's a low inventory market, because many times you're probably going to be competing against another offer. And if you're in a position where there's multiple offers on a property, you need to be competitive and you need to be going after it as hard and high as you can, where you're comfortable to have any opportunity to possibly get that home. So especially in a market where it's a seller's market, lowballing is probably a good way to not get the home that you want, especially if it's one that you really want. Now, that's not to say that you can't negotiate on a property, because obviously you can always negotiate. And there's going to be times that you might be able to get a great deal because they may actually have the property overpriced. So make sure that you're talking to a professional agent who's going to help you find out what the best value of that property is, to make sure that you're making a good offer, a strong offer, but a reasonable offer, so you're not overpaying for the property either. Another great tip that I have for everybody is, if you have the ability to do so, save some money for your down payment. Now, there's a lot of great programs that exist out there that will offer minimum and low down payment financing. Some products out there exist that actually offer 100% financing for some buyers. Now, it is not a bad idea to take advantage of those if you have the ability to do so. But the cool thing about it is if you do save some money for down payment, you've already got some equity in the house whenever you move into it. So that's a great thing to have. The other thing is, as you're saving that money up for the down payment, if you do find a program that gives you the ability to get that higher level of financing, 100% or maybe even 96.5 or 97%, the truth is you've got that extra money saved up to maybe take care of some of those other things that I mentioned earlier. Like maybe you've got some money saved up at that point that you can do some of the home repairs that you want to do. Or maybe you can do some enhancements to some things that you wanted to do, like upgrade the appliances or maybe go in and completely redecorate the home. Saving up money in the long run is always going to be something that's going to be a benefit to you. So make sure that you are trying to do that as much as possible because there's no downside to saving up extra money. So, as I said at the very beginning of the video, I am going to link to this article in the comments down below because they had some great tips. It's hard for me to say it, but I was really pleased with hgtv.com on this one. 23 great tips for first-time home buyers. Once again, please like this video, share it with your friends, and tag anybody in the comments down below who's thinking about purchasing their first home this year because I think this is great information for them to have, and it's also going to have this great link for other stuff as well. Let me know in the comments below if you think you have any other tips that you might want to share from your first-time home buying experience, or if you have any other questions that I can answer or topics you want to talk about next week on Real Talk Real Estate, or you can feel free to send me a message or give me a call at 812-779-6273. I'm seeing the comments come rolling in now. I'll make sure I'll follow up on these. I'll reply to them as much as possible. Really appreciate you guys taking some time and paying attention to Real Talk Real Estate here on the Aaron Advantage. Look forward to seeing you next week.